So I wanted to share my wife's and I experience with House of Payne 77 grain match ammo. We shot a lot of it this season in various different rifles, service rifle, 200, 300, 600 yards. And when I say we shot a lot of it, I mean a lot of it. We shot over 1,600 plus rounds of it just this season. So we had a lot of time to shoot it and get some readings, velocity, and stuff like that. But the House of Payne 77 grain ammo is just a mag length ammo, which for service rifle, a lot of people shoot mag length across the course, which I do. So they are a 77 grain mag length ammo loaded with a 77 grain Sierra Match King. And I believe at one point they were also loading with 77 grain Nosler Custom Comp. But brand new Starline brass, very pretty round, very consistent round from what we were finding. And I was going through and doing a bunch of checks on the ammo itself, and seeing overall length and stuff like that. 1.854, and I did this on a lot of the ammo. 1.853 to the ogive, and just they were very consistent within like 0.002. So they're very well consistently loaded and very well, I gotta put that on right, 1.852. So they were very well loaded, of course, and tighter tolerances than some of the ammo that like I could have loaded myself. So there was two different batches that we did get from them. This one, of course, being the Starline brass, which is their normal load go to, and then we did get another batch from them. I believe at one point they were having a little bit of issue getting brass, so they did change to a different brass, but still brand new brass, but it was grind hard brass. But we shot a bunch of this ammo as well as the Starline loaded, and no difference. Loaded the same way, loaded the same consistency and everything like that. Could not find any difference between the two, other than the brass and the primer, but otherwise they were loaded exactly the same. Very well loaded, very well consistent. Out of all the rounds we found and inspecting, we did not find a single defect in the case, no ruined matched bullets, nothing. Everything was hand loaded and looked very consistent. So I was very excited to start shooting it, and going through with having to load less ammo for the season because we ran into an issue in the beginning of the season, and that's why we decided to go with House of Payne 77 ammo. And we were very impressed and very happy with the consistency I was getting out of it. Their loads were actually tighter and more consistent than the ones I was doing. We were not seeing any like deviation issues other than like I think it was like 9 to 10 SD when we were shooting them. I think the highest spread I saw was like 12 feet per second SD when we were checking muzzle velocity with my Athlon chrono. So they were very well consistent and very well loaded, and could not, like I said, we shot over 1,600 rounds, and we didn't find any issues with them at all when we were shooting through across the course, and we also shot some of them in our modern military guns, and we did not see any, failure to feeds, nothing. Everything worked very well in both batches of ammo. So that was very nice to have a very consistent and repeatable ammo. So when it came to consistency out at the range, when we were shooting a couple mid-range matches, we were getting good consistent groups down at 600 yards. You can see we were able to hold 10 ring, 9 ring. Those 8s definitely were just from my wobble being slung up at 600 yards. So we were very consistent in holding a pretty decent group size down at 600 yards. So we were getting good consistent breaks, clean breaks, and consistent velocities downrange. You can see we were able to group a bunch of shots, just outside the 9 ring, pushed out, like I said, a couple 8s, but very consistent, very repeatable, no random weird flyers. You can see this one was a little bit tighter of a group in there. Still a couple 8s out there, just like I said, from the wobble being slung up, just nature of the game, trying to settle ourselves down. So this one was from a different range, but you can see definitely a lot tighter in that X and 10 ring. A couple outside on the right side I didn't catch a wind flip, so I kind of got pushed out a little bit, but that's just, experience that needs to be taken care of. So when it came to like 300 yard, 2 sets of rapid, you can see nice tight group in the X and 10 ring. A couple, wobbles for me just from being rapid fire. That 8 down at the bottom definitely could have been a target issue, or we found out my barrel was pushing over 3,200 rounds, so could have been signs of my barrel starting to randomly push a flyer. So for those not familiar with our targets and what we shoot, a 600 yard target, you can see the X ring is a 6-inch circle, the 10 ring 12 inch, and the 9 ring is 18 inches. So when I say we were able to consistently hold like 10 ring just outside of 10 ring, that's within a 12-inch circle at 600 yards, which for me slung up is actually very impressive for myself, being doing this for a few years now. And the 300 yard rapid, you can see that X and 10 ring 7 inches in diameter at 300 yards, so very consistent and very repeatable. So overall, our experience with the House of Payne ammo was extremely great. It shoots very well, definitely shoots probably better than I can currently. Like I said, only doing this for a couple years now, but so some of the brass you can see that was fired, very consistent, no signs of any type of like pressure issues, no signs of anything, no cracking, no nothing like that in the Starline brass, as well as if the batches did come with, say, the grind hard, as you can see once again, very consistent, no issues with any type of defects in the brass or anything like that. So definitely going to keep this brass to load for other matches. So overall, our experience with the 77s, it's a very consistent ammo. The velocities we were getting just at 2,700, just under 2,700 feet per second, recorded on our Athlon out of a 20-inch service rifle, and it was repeatable. Like I said, the farthest SD we saw was 12. So for consistency on the target, it was definitely nice to have a very consistent round. Now they do have another round that I'm excited to actually try now that I've changed my service rifle barrel. This is their 80 grain throated load. So this is a non-mag length load that I'm going to give it a shot for the long line. As you can see, it's an 80 grain Sierra loaded in Lapua match brass with a bench rest primer. So something I'm very curious to try now that I switched to a 1-in-7 White Oaks barrel. I'm going to give it a shot and see what kind of consistency I can get out of, a non-mag length ammo at 600 yards, which, a lot of people in the service rifle do that, but they're loaded off their throat and everything, off the jump, 10, 20 off the jump. So very curious to see how these are going to perform as well. So definitely going to have to get out to the range with the new service rifle and do some group testing on these, but that's for another time. Today was all about the 77 grain ammo, and my impressions are definitely out of the box a very consistent, very repeatable ammo that if you need some mag length ammo to shoot for 200 and 300 yards, if you load your 600 yard loads, these are definitely very good and will put you definitely where you need to be. So that I just wanted to share with you guys our experience with it for this year, since we shot a lot of it. So hope you guys enjoyed that and take what we said. If you guys are looking for a consistent ammo, this is very good. So take a look at them, get some, and try and shoot yourself and see what you can do with it. But we've had great success with them so far.